Hey, today I'm going to talk about 3 foreign films. 2 of them are definitely French, and then the other one is a little bit French, but mostly Swedish, and then a tiny bit of Soviet in there as well. The names of the 3 movies I watched are Queen Margot, Oxygen, and The Sacrifice. First up is Queen Margot. I don't actually know if that's how you say it. It's French. It's also a nickname, so I tried to emulate how they said it in the movie while I was watching the movie, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. It's fine. She's dead anyway, so the character, not the actor, she's still alive. So the premise of this movie, it's based on a book which is based roughly on true life. There's a big asterisk there because it's also got like lots of myths and misinformation about characters that they kind of present as the truth. So the movie isn't completely true to life, but it is about Queen Margot in the time before she became queen. And at first, I wasn't really digging this movie because like there are just so many characters and lots of very French names. And also, I hated the title character. I was like, wait, she's the title character? She's kind of awful. Her family is just the worst. I hate her family. And then something happened and it clicked and I was like, oh, she's gonna go on an arc. That makes sense. And after that, I really enjoyed this movie. It was well acted, amazing costumes. It won an Academy Award for that. I thought the story was really fun and really interesting. It went in a lot of ways I didn't expect. Something else that I really liked about the movie and kind of appreciated as it went on was the casting. They did a great job of casting actors that looked like they could be related, but also looked distinct. Like I never got anyone confused. I was like, oh, that's the skinny mustache guy. That's the ridiculously handsome guy. That's the guy with the receding hairline who's kind of ugly, but I like his character a lot. So even though I did have trouble with the names, as soon as I saw faces, I was like, I know what's up, I know what's going on. Also, I was surprised about the nudity in the movie because normally you expect, you know, lots of female nudity when there's going to be nudity. Nope. You saw a lot of dick. There was a good amount of dick in this movie. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. This was a good one. It was a lot of fun. If this looks interesting to you, 100% go for it. I enjoyed it a lot. Next up is Oxygen. This is a brand new Netflix movie, and this is a French movie that stars, I'm gonna butcher this, Mélanie Laurent. She was the French woman in Inglourious Bastards. Side note, she was also the director of Breathe, a movie that I really crazy love and definitely recommend, and you should totally watch it. It's just a really, really good French movie. It's also the movie that introduced me to Lou Delarge, you know. I'm a big crush. But the director of this movie is directed by the guy who did High Tension. That is a horror suspense movie from the early aughts. It's one of my brother Justin's favorite like suspense thriller ever, and I enjoyed it a ton. And I also recommend the hell out of that movie. Coming back to this movie though, the basic premise is Mel is just in a confined little medical pod, and she spends the entire movie trying to figure out why the hell she's locked in there and trying to get out of it. I'll start off with my complaint right away because it's really small. It's basically just that I predicted a lot of like plot points early on. I was kind of like, oh, is it gonna be this? And it was. But to the movie's credit, I talked to my brother Justin about the movie after it because we watched it together. He predicted things wrong, so I think it just depends on the person. That being said though, I still enjoy this movie a ton. She gave an incredible performance. There is no denying that. She was great. And I liked all of the ideas in the movie too. I'm not gonna go into specifics, but just like, there's a lot of sci-fi ideas here and they're really, really interesting. I did see a few people kind of complaining about like some of like the logistics of some of the stuff. Without being specific, I kind of thought those same things too. But if you kind of think about it and talk about it a little bit, you can kind of explain away any like plot hole type stuff in that regards. Or do a little scientific research. But yeah, I definitely recommend this one too. If it looks like your jam, go for it. You're in for a good time. And lastly is The Sacrifice. This is a 1986 Swedish movie directed by Tarkovsky. He is a Soviet director. The way I read the premise of this movie is that it was a group of people in a freshly post-apocalyptic world and them just kind of dealing with the immediate consequences of that. It's more so half of the movie is just kind of philosophical discussions, and then the second half of the movie is maybe the nuclear apocalypse is happening and them just kind of freaking out about that idea that like it could be the end of the world right now, but we don't know. I will say I unfortunately had to split my viewing of this movie up into two halves. I had something come up in the middle, which sucks. I do think I would have enjoyed it a bit more had that not happened, because while thinking about the movie, I was like, man, that first half was so much stronger than the second half. I feel like I may not have thought that had I been able to see the entire thing in one sitting. That being said, I enjoyed all of the philosophical discussions in the beginning, even though I didn't entirely always understand them. I thought they were very interesting. In the second half, as they started to freak out about stuff, I don't know, it seemed like too much. It almost felt like it was just like there was a bad storm and we lost power for a day, and they just assumed the absolute worst of everything. I don't see why they did. To be fair to the movie, that's probably not the point of it. Like, we didn't need to see the worst. It's just kind of like what the fear of the worst can bring out in people, amongst other things. And I did enjoy this one. I think it'll just be a little better on repeat viewing, especially being able to watch it all at once. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Queen Margot, sitting number 32 in the really liked category. And then right behind that is Oxygen, sitting number 50 in the quite like section. And then bringing up the rear is The Sacrifice in the liked section, sitting number 76. And this is out of a total of 135 movies so far this year.